So on the HR, we have primarily to think about the entire HCM model as three main entities. Okay. One entity is the workforce structures, which consists of the location, department, job, position, grade, and so on. The other is the person. So person, when we say person, we refer to an employee, applicant, contingent worker, contacts, candidates, anybody who is a person and whose record is maintained in the application. The third aspect is the compensation, which is how you are compensating your employees or contractors. And those could be through the payroll, elements, formulas, balances, payslip, incentive compensation, and so on. That primarily entails three important entities. Once again, workforce structure, person, compensation. The interaction between the three happens through our employment or the assignment screen. The employment is where we are tagging the person with our legal entity, or the in HR, we call it the legal employer. Assignment is where we are tagging it with our business unit and the workforce structures. All right. Now, when we talk about workforce structures, we talk about location, department, job, position, grade. Location is any place of work. Any place of work from where people are working. So we have, the office location, or could be a depot location, could be a place, store, factory, anything which is a official organization location. The location can be linked optionally with the department. What is the department? Department is like HR, finance, account, CEO office, sales, marketing, and so on. One department can span multiple locations. Therefore, we have it as a optional. You may link it with a department. That's okay. You might have a primary location for that department, or you could have separate locations. Then you also have the job. Job is linked with grade, and department and job is linked with position. Positions are also linked with grade. What is the difference between job and position? Job is more a generic definition of the position. Something like manager, consultant, developer. These are all jobs. What is a position? Like HR manager, purchasing manager, deputy general manager, finance. That becomes a position, which is very, very specific. So there would be a headcount associated with it, how many people, where they are working, who is their reportee, what is the level, what is the job, what is the department. That is why department and job are mandatory for the position. Okay. Let's talk about location. Now, what is the navigation for location? We go to home, my client groups, workforce structures. Location, it is the workplace where employees are working from. It can be a city, building, floor, section. Location is also tied with other modules like purchasing, inventory, receivables, sales, and so on. It is uniquely identified by the location ID. Then department. Department, the navigation remains the same: home, my client group, workforce structures. You can also go through the functional setup manager, which is your setup and maintenance. or you can directly do it from the My Client groups, provided you have got access. Department is also called as an organization. It can be an HR org, inventory org, project org. So when we talk about department, department is actually a specific HR organization. Organization is a generic term, okay? And organization will refer to HR, inventory, project, organizations. All organizations, all different organizations used in every module is an organization. Whereas in HR, we refer to an HR organization as a department. That is where employees are assigned. Departments are optionally linked to locations. It can have a head count. It can have accounting information like account code. It is uniquely identified by the department ID or organization ID. And other organizations can be business unit, division, legal entity, which are also organizations that are used within HR. So whenever we say there is an employee assigned to a particular department or an organization, we actually mean the person is assigned to that department, finance department, HR department, and so on. Job. Job is the nature of work being done by an individual. Similar jobs are grouped into job family. Jobs can have a job path. One can define eligible grades on the job. One can hold job evaluation criteria on them. It is uniquely identified by the job ID. Grades. Grade is the link with the salary. So people with similar salary is put on the same grade. Examples are A1, A2, Band 1, Band 2, Band 3, and so on. Grades can have grade rates or grade scales. Grade rates will define minimum, maximum of salary ranges for any particular grade. For example, A1, minimum salary is 10,000. Maximum salary is 12,000. Grade rates can be overlapping between grades. Grade scales are indirectly linked to salary. So you have primarily two types, grade rates or grade scales. Grade rates are min, max. Grade scales, on the other hand, indirectly linked to salary. Salary scales can be A1 is scale A11, A12, A13, so on, with each point having a value attached to it. For example, you could have $1,000 value attached to it. Grade scales are usually used in public sector and traditional organizations. There is a base pay based on which other emoluments are calculated, and it is uniquely identified by the grade ID. You might have seen advertisements from PSUs and government organizations where they give you a pay scale, which is like 10,000 dash 500 dash 15,000 dash 800 dash, like that. What it basically means is there is a base pay based on which other benefits like HRA, transport, or retirement benefits, all those will be calculated, and there will be an annual increment which will keep increasing every year. So that is the scale that we have here. Okay, scale is A1 and they will progress A11 to A15. That means every year they will move from A11, they will move 0.1 to A1 1.2, A1.3, A1.4 and reach A1.5. That is the head of the scale. Then they get moved to the next scale, which can be A2. There they will have like scale A21, A22, and so on. Okay. In case of grade rates, all that you have is a minimum salary and a maximum salary. There is no scale or anything like that. There is no automatic movement. Okay. Position is the designation of any person in an organization. So position is linked to department and job. Examples can be HR manager, finance VP, purchasing GM, and so on. Defining reporting, we can do reporting through the position hierarchy. So if you are using a position, you can use position hierarchy. One can have valid grades on the position. You can optionally link locations to a position. Every position can be of type single incumbent, shared, pooled, or none. Single incumbent means only one person is allowed in that position. Shared means more than one person is allowed. Pooled, they belong to a common pool department. That is, some other department is bearing their cost. You are using their services. For example, drivers or secretaries, or there could be a separate IT team which is supporting the rest of the organization. And none means the position has no validation on people holding the position. Hiring status, proposed, active, closed. Assignment information for a person can be defaulted from the position. It is uniquely identified by the position ID. So whenever we are having the grades, we link it with the position or the job, and that is optional. It is not mandatory. You may assign it, you may not. So usually we define it, and then when we give them the salary, we can check how many people are in that grade, how many people above that grade, and so on. That will give us a comparative number. So here we have the HR implementation. So I'll show you the workforce structures. We go to My Client Groups, scroll down, you will see workforce structures. This is the tile for workforce structures. Click on it and you will get the list here. Scroll down, you will see this is for position, this is for job, this is the legislative data groups, grades, organization. Within organization, you can see business unit, department, divisions, department trees is the hierarchy. Disability, these are US specific. And if you keep coming down, you will see locations. Right at the end, you have locations. So for locations, click on location details. You can search or you can add a new one. Let's add a new one. So what is the location start date? You can put in the past. So let's say 1/1/2020. Don't we usually don't start from today, because after today you will only be able to see it from today. If you want to do anything else, you can't do it before today. This is the, why are you creating? This is a drop down. And leave it blank, it's optional. Click continue. Leave it as common set. Give the name as SP Mumbai. Active. If there is an inventory organization, you link it. Say continue. Then you enter the address. If you are entering a US address, be very careful with the zip code. You might have noticed country comes first because your state is a dependent one. So you can put a time zone also over here. Okay, Asia. And you can have the official language, email, phone numbers, all the details of that particular location. These are relevant in other modules like financial, ship to site, receiving site, bill to site, whether this is where bills will be sent, this is where ships, the items will be shipped. If you don't want it as a ship to site, you can remove it. Okay. And you need to provide a ship to location in that case. Maybe your factory is in another location, but your bills are over here. And these are country specific details that are applicable if you are doing it for other countries. Like this is for Spanish. And this is for US, country specific details. If you are not entering it for France or Canada or US, you can just leave it like that. And then you say submit. Now, if you go back to your location, you will be able to search for it here. See, SP Mumbai is now visible. Once you click on this SP Mumbai, you will get the details over here. Next, we'll define the department. For department, we go to organization, manage departments. Click on manage department. Here, this is search. So you can search for it, and else you can create one if you are creating for the first time. Again, leave the common reference data set. Let's do it 2020. Name SP human resources. You can use any other name, sales, marketing, finance. If you want to link it with your location, you can enter this and you will be able to see it in the drop down. Okay. Say next. These are the GL cost centers that you can identify, workday information from what time to what time. This is applicable only for this department. Okay, remember that. Next. The frequency 8 hours is what? So that's what they want to know. 8 hours. Although it's not mandatory, it is enforced when you are trying to navigate out from the screen. Now here you see this orange icon. If you bring your cursor here, it is linked with Google Maps. You can see the location here. Okay. This is based on your zip code. If you want to see a larger map. Okay. You'll get a great view of Marine Drive from here. Next, once you're done with this, you can submit. So you can see HP Human Resources is created. The location is now tagged. So we did location, department. Let's look at jobs now. Under jobs, you have job family. Job family is grouping and job details. Let's go to job details. Add a job detail. Maybe you want everything. When does it start? Put the date. Job family, these are the grouping, right? It could be an administrative family job, job function. So what type of department it belongs to. Okay. Progression job means from this job, what are they going to move to? Okay. Maybe from manager, they will become senior manager, or they might become a general manager, or they might become a vice president, depending on, what their, what kind of jobs and how they have been defined in the application. And these are the grades. You can link a job with a grade. Okay. Otherwise, you can leave it blank. This is again legislative specific information. And you can also have a job description, which is through the associated profiles. Like when we put out advertisements and all, what kind of role, what is expected from that position, and so on will be visible here. So this is more like the job description. Then we click submit. Let's go back to job details. See SP. Okay, you can see all this over here. In case you want to go back and attach the job, you come to this, attach the grade, you can say, and then you see this is called as valid grade here. So it's always better to first save it, then come and add. With a valid grade, you can have multiple grades that you can assign. Okay, so for example, I assign A1, or maybe A1 is just starters. So let's say I'll define A3, A4. So these are valid. So in one job, there can be people with different grades, okay, depending on their experience, background, and so on. So you have 3 grades which are valid for this particular job submitted. Okay, so this is the job. So we have done job, we have done department, we have done location. In case you want to define grades, you can also define the grades here. Okay, grades. So let's say manage grades. Let's create a new grade. I'll call it SPA1. So these are the grade steps that you can have. In case you don't need the steps, you can progress. These are the grade rates. So for grade rates, you will need to have the legislative. Okay, you can create new rates. Okay, and you can give it a name, SP, or you can use a existing rate. Let's first use an existing one. US, let's say annual grade rate. And you can give a minimum and a maximum. Let's say 10,000. Maximum is, oh, this is annual figure. So let's make it a higher amount. Next. Okay. Then you submit it. So this is a new grade rate that you have defined. If you want to search for it, you can put SP and search for it. Whatever. Somehow it's not showing up here. We'll come back later. Okay, after the grades, then we finally go to the position. So for position, this is the position details. Again, we can create a new position. These are additional information. If you want this, you can add it. Otherwise, you can just say continue. You can do this for others also, where those additional ones were showing up. At this level, you will have to assign it with the business unit. Okay, the position is linked with the business unit. Remember that reference data set? We were linking it with the business. You can link it with US1 business unit. Give it a name. Let's say SPHR manager. Department is link with your department, your job, your grade. Okay. So again, job is SP manager. Location, see the Mumbai one defaulted because it is linked with your department. Then your grade. See here SPA1 is showing up. So this could be your entry grade. You can have another grade also. These are your valid grades. And then you have manager, assignment category, full-time, regular. Whether it's a full-time or a part-time one. Working hours, all this will default. And then whether it's a regular or a temporary job. In retail, lot of times people take on during the peak season, they fill up positions. Hiring status, clearance, probation, union, collective, overlap. Overlap is when two people are occupying the same position at the same time. Here you will see if there's anything else, you can attach it here. Otherwise, you say submit. SPHR manager. Now let's go and search for this. SPHR. Okay, we get SPHR. Incumbent is the current person who is working on this. The incumbent is currently 1. That means it is for one person. So if you scroll down, you will see this. whether it is budgeted and what type. See, these are the different types. Single incumbent, one person allowed. Shared, more than one person allowed. Pooled, multiple people will be there and they are usually assigned to a different department. So let's keep it as there is a head count. That means if it is shared, how many people are in that position? If it is pooled, how many people in that position? That is what your head count will indicate. You can increase the head count. If it is single, you can't obviously have more than one. But if it is not single, you can have it more than two, more than one actually. So once you submit, this is your position that has got created.